Hello and welcome to the next of my build videos of my new Kyosho Javelin 4-wheel drive off-road buggy. Today we're going to be finishing off parts bag F. So we'll start with putting the shocks onto the chassis. Step 28 is installing the shocks. Quite a simple thing. We've got, I can't remember what part number this is, OT210R1, and it just pushes in like so and then slides onto that great big long screw, and then the other end we just pop on, and we've got an M3 nylock nut and a note that says do not over tighten, because you're screwing onto this red plastic, and the tighter you screw it the more it'll press or compress it and you'll jam your shock top up. So just a bit up, there we go, still moves freely. And that's step 28 done with all four of them, and we've now got basically almost a rolling chassis. So we'll carry on. Step 29 seems to be in two halves. The first half is installing this bumper and this stiffening brackets. And the second half is installing the receiver and the electronic speed controller, that's the word. So we'll have a look at getting this on first. He says, even though you can possibly see that I've already installed the receiver. But anyway, right, so I can't see anywhere else where it goes. So I'm assuming it goes like that. You put both of them, or is it either or? Ah, it's an either or, isn't it? So we can either stick the big one on or stick the other one on. I think I'm going to go with the little one. I might swap it out if I don't think it looks very nice, but yeah, I'm going to go for the little one and risk it for a swiskit. So we need 12mm self-tappers, countersunk, and they go one there, one there, and there, and there. So we'll tighten them up and I'll be back. Okay, so there's the Dubrifurking bumper on. So we're now moving to part 2. Now, as you can see, I've already installed the receiver, and what I suggest you do when you get to this point, even though it doesn't tell you, it just gives you an idea of roughly where to put it. But you know, receivers are all different shapes and sizes. Unfortunately at the minute I've only got some quite big 27 megahertz AM receivers left. So what I've done is I've had to cut the back out of my driver to get it through and over, and then position the receiver in such a position that the driver figure goes over and clips into those two aluminium brackets there, and we can get it in and out. So that's that done. Now the speed controller is supposed to go somewhere here, but there ain't that much room. Okay, I'm taking up far too much time. I'm going to stop recording and sort it all out off air. Okay, so I ended up mounting it there. Only place I could see that it could go. And yeah, it's upside down. I've managed to poke the control cable through, so I will tidy that up a bit, but it's going to be hidden anyway. The only thing I can think of is getting the motor cables out this way, in between the shock and the upper arm. I'm hoping to be able to mount my on-off switch here, but as I've never built one before, I'm going to leave that dangling. It says losing it until I've built the cage and I can see whether I can turn it on and off from there. I don't know whether this wing, oh no, should be out of the way. So I'll carry on and get the stuff ready for step 30, mounting the servo. Now then, step 30 is installing the servo and the steering arm. Now, I've already done that, and honestly it's quite fiddly. I don't know if you'll be able to see. There's the arm there, and to get it installed I had to pull it all to there, try and wangle it in, and then get the 2mm hex drive and tighten it up. And yeah, oof, that was quite difficult. So I've done that. Now attaching this other end I think is going to be quite difficult as well, because of how this installs. I wonder if I can. No, I've just remembered, for the first time in my RC hobby I've thread locked this thread, the screw, because there isn't actually a servo saver on there, and I haven't dared tighten it down as tight as I normally do. So what I'm going to do is wind it around like so, so we can get the thing in. And then we've got two 8mm countersink machine screws. Sorry, I forgot before we carry on. You have to put two M3 nuts in the bottom of this bracket, and obviously this one here you have to put in before you mount the servo, so don't forget that, because it's not that clear that you need to do it beforehand, but hey, I'm telling you, you do. So that's that. I've temporarily connected it so that I can centre that again. And the other thing is, it tells you to install these if required, but it's to be honest, it's hit and miss whether this is going to work without them. So like I say, I'm going to screw these in to get it into position. And then God knows what I'm going to do here, look. Oh, there we go. So, right, I've got me transmitter and the battery, and we can't bleeding find. There it is. So, fingers crossed. So I may end up having to file a bit of that down. Because I think I'm going to have to take it off anyway to get the screw in. Is this a 6mm screw? Yeah, that's this 6mm screw, so let me see if I can screw it in or if I've got to take the arm off. Wow. Well, it's on, and hopefully it'll stay on. I think we'll just centre it again. Well, it's sort of done, it's all installed, so I could move on to step 31, but I'm going to have a look at that, and I'm definitely going to have to file a bit of this down, so see you in a bit. Okay, so step 31 is making up the Spur Gear and the Spur Gear idler gear cover, and as you might be able to see from that, they've kindly supplied you with some fairly dense foam as a dust cover, and really easy to fit on, especially if you've fitted any gaskets in your life. So that's that, and the next is this Spur Gear. Now there's a note telling you, note the direction, and this gear will only slot in one, well, it'll slot in either way, but it'll only slot in properly from one side, and although I've got it started, oh there we go. Now that was a tight fit. And then we've got this spring clip. And it's telling you to push it round, but I can't see that it's going to do that. Let me see if I can hold it there and tease it round. No, and honestly I'm not going to struggle on camera, so I'll be back when I've done this and try and tell you how I've done it. Okay, so what I've ended up doing is managing to manhandle it, it says, although that's quite close, around like so, if you can see. And then I'm just going to basically, with a flat screwdriver, I'm going to keep easing it down. So yes, before you do that, double check that you haven't put this gear on the wrong way round. And then the last job is somewhere to pop some bearings in, and then we move on to step 32. Okay, step 32 is mounting the motor and that other gear, this gear, the idler gear, Spur Gear, I think that one's called, and the pinion gear, and also the lubricating here. I think I'm going to try this motor, which was given to me by Uncle Bob's RC. I think it's Uncle Bob's RC. Sorry Bob if I've got that, cut that up. I'll put a link in this video to his channel. Oh, wibbly wobbly's getting in the way. So yes, so I'm going to try this one. I've already started by putting some wires on it to begin with, and we need these two cap screws and excuse me, we've got one. This is, got to find the right tool. Yep, there we go. Well, this is a job and a half. I can't see it at all. So we've got one of the screws that goes in there and the other in this slot here, so that we can adjust it. So I'll crack on with that first. Okay, so we've got the motor mounted loosely, roughly, and I've got the pinion gear on. So we just need to mount this spur gear, and it goes over this bar here. Yes, like so, and slots in. This is weird, yeah, no. We then got this black O-ring which goes over, so I suppose that sort of keeps the spur gear in place. And then, as you can see, we need to mate the gear, and as the instruction says, to put some paper in. There we go. And I'm holding that fairly tight while I do these screws up. And then hopefully you drag it out and hey presto. And then I just need to find the grub screw. Yep, there it is. Loosen that off a bit. And line that up with the spur gear edge. There we go. And another nip up of these. And then I'll grease it all up in a bit, but just to show you, the cover goes on. Which isn't easy to line up. Oh goodness me. Right, well, there we go. Oops. If you can see down here, no you can't, I've got it the wrong way around. The screw for the upper arm was getting in the way. You have to poke the front end of this cover in first, and then it'll go in, and then you have to get your R-clip. And honestly, I think I'm going to try with my long nose pliers to put it in this way, so that if anything does catch it, it won't pull it out. So there we go. I'll grease that up and we can get on to, oh, it doesn't matter. I think actually I'll grease that up and I'll call it a day for this video. So once again, I hope you've enjoyed watching, and look forward to seeing you on the next one, which is making up the tyres and opening bag G, the final bag. So, thanks for watching, bye!